Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Custom Tools webinar series episode. Today, we are going to explore what to consider when implementing an Odoo integration. To ensure a seamless experience, we have the pleasure of having Francois with us. He will be available to address any questions you may have. Feel free to utilize the chat box located in the GoToWebinar panel to share your queries or thoughts. We have set aside some time after the session for any extra questions you might have. So feel free to dive into the presentation without worrying about missing out. And this webinar should wrap up in about 30 minutes. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you will be able to watch it later on at your convenience. We will send out the recording to all registered participants after this session. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Tero Salonen and I am the product director at ATRsoft. I have been with ATR since 2000, starting as a software engineer, then working as a custom tools product manager, and now serving as product director. With over 20 years of hands-on experience in SOLIDWORKS CAD and PDM, I am responsible for our product business. I've been also involved in numerous integration projects, and many of them have been made against Odoo. I've been working in numerous roles, including sales development and both account and project management. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you find today's webinar both informative and enjoyable. This webinar concentrates more theory than live demo of working integration. For those that are looking for more information how integration is working in practice, when implemented with custom tools, we have previous webinar recording available. Integrate Odoo with SolidWorks or SolidWorks PDM. That's available on our website customtools.info. I hope that I will be able to give some useful tips whether you are considering an integration or already have one in place. Most of the content is based on my own experience while working with various customers using Odoo and SolidWorks. First, we need to define what integration means. In practice, it involves connecting two or more different systems that at least partially handle the same data. But why would someone want to do that? The goal is to connect systems to ensure data consistency and streamline processes. In the past, integrating different systems was seen as a competitive advantage, helping businesses work more efficiently and outperform their competitors. Nowadays, I think integration is often considered a necessity for staying competitive. This largely depends on the nature of your work. For example, if you focus on product development and conceptual design, integrating with an ERP system may not be essential. On the other hand, if you deliver projects with short time cycles, optimizing your processes with a robust integration can play a crucial role in your success. The concrete benefits of integration include a significant reduction in manual work. Typically, information is produced in CAD systems that needs to be accessible for downstream processes. Without automation, this data has to be manually duplicated, which is time-consuming, error-prone, tedious, and often expensive. Manually entering data from one system to another not only duplicates effort, but also creates redundant data. Redundant data is problematic because it becomes difficult to maintain when changes occur. In cases of conflicting data, it can be nearly impossible to determine which version is the correct one. I mentioned that data produced in CAD must be available in downstream processes. Exporting data from CAD to ERP primarily supports downstream processes, and here is why. CAD systems are typically used in the design and engineering stages, which occur early in the product lifecycle. On the other hand, ERP systems manage processes like procurement, manufacturing, inventory, and sales, which happen later. By exporting data such as bill of materials, product metadata, and configurations from CAD to ERP, it's important because then manufacturing gets the necessary specifications to produce the design. Secondly, procurement can source the required materials. Thirdly, inventory management can allocate resources, and also sales and distribution can track product availability. Thus, the flow of data moves downstream from the design phase, so from CAD, to later operational phases in ERP. However, there could also be upstream feedback when ERP systems send data back to CAD for changes, for instance, cost constraints or material availability. But the initial CAD to ERP flow is mostly downstream. Odoo is a versatile ERP platform that can work very well for manufacturing companies, particularly small to medium-sized enterprises. It provides a comprehensive suite of tools to manage manufacturing operations, integrate workflows, and enhance productivity. On the other hand, for large-scale manufacturers or companies with needs, Odoo can still be a good option, but may require significant customization and expert implementation. Custom Tools is an add-in designed for both SOLIDWORKS and SOLIDWORKS PDM. This powerful tool boasts a wide range of features with a particular focus on advanced custom property management, batch operations like batch printing and batch file export, Excel-based reporting, and seamless ERP integrations. The impact of custom tools is quite remarkable, as it can significantly reduce the manual work, repetitive aspects of design work by up to 30%. Moreover, it ensures consistency and helps eliminate common errors in design process. Custom Tools also offers out-of-the-box Odoo integration. As with Odoo, the standard product covers typical workflow scenarios, such as creating new products and updating existing ones, uploading attachments to products, and managing bill of materials. If you are using SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional Edition, you may find integration to workflow state transitions, which enables you to have the integration part of your approval process in PDM. And as with Odoo, many times you need to adjust the standard integration to align it with your business processes or to support your existing data. Let's go through some key considerations for seamless integration. Firstly, the data mapping is the process of defining how data fields in one system corresponds to fields in another system. It ensures that data is correctly transferred, stored, and utilized across integrated platforms. There are many things to consider. For instance, data in SOLIDWORKS may not be compatible with Odoo is expecting to have. If a field holds longer data than ERP supports in corresponding field, you need to decide, is it safe to cut the data or should it trigger an error, and designer needs to fix data before it's possible to send it to Odoo. Most unfortunate case would be that data is not validated beforehand, and invalid data will cause an undetermined error situation. Other consideration is data format. In CAD, you may use, for instance, a different decimal separator for numerical data, or the unit is different. CAD file may use millimeters to measure length, while ERP system expects to receive number in meters. One common headache is also date values, as different systems may represent date values in different formats. It's not that rare that data in CAD is already inconsistent, which makes integration even more challenging to implement. When you create a new part in CAD, you need to identify it somehow so that both ERP and CAD recognizes the part. Typically, you assign a part number which should be unique. There are different ways to implement part numbering. Some prefer just running number sequences, whereas others want to use so-called smart numbering system, where part number itself tells something about part. For instance, is it purchased or manufactured component? Which system suits better for you depends on multiple factors. In CAD, you produce engineering BOM, and typically the BOM structure is driven by how the product is most convenient to design. In ERP system, on the other hand, you use same BOM or list of components to buy them as standard components or buy them from subcontractor or make them in shop floor. You may store sub-assemblies in your warehouse. In many times, the engineering BOM needs to be translated to manufacturing BOM in ERP system. Furthermore, SOLIDWORKS provides mechanical BOM, but depending on your design, it may contain electrical or pneumatic components, even software logic, paints, or other material that is not visible in mechanical BOM. In fact, BOM in Odoo may have components from different CAD systems, and those can be added, changed, or modified in Odoo also. That's why it's crucial to define BOM hierarchies and their mappings. In ideal world, you don't need to make any changes to release products, but in practice, design evolves and there are need for changes from time to time. The change process should be clearly defined. Odoo offers PLM module that supports the change and revisioning process by providing tools to manage engineering changes, track revisions, and ensure controlled updates to product data throughout the product lifecycle. On the other hand, CAD department typically relies on PDM or PLM system to manage product revisions. When integrating these systems together, it's a must to define the change process and how different systems exchange data regarding that. Integration can be either API-driven, when different systems are communicating real-time, or it can be based on exchanging files holding information to transfer between systems. API-driven integration is more sophisticated and can work real-time with accurate data, whereas file-based imports often contains manual steps and data is not often validated while exporting from CAD, but when importing to ERP system, making it tedious to fix possible data errors. Integration can be also either real-time or based on scheduled batch operations. Scalability and future-proofing are critical considerations when planning integrations or implementing systems like Odoo in manufacturing or other business environments. They ensure your systems can handle growth, evolving business needs, and technological advancements without disruption. Scalability involves many aspects such as data volume, users and workflows, integrations, performance optimizations, hardware and infrastructure. Future-proofing ensures that your system remains relevant and effective in the face of changing business requirements or technological advancements. Key considerations for future-proofing are modular design, adaptability to industry trends, customizability, vendor and tool ecosystem, support for emerging technologies, data migration, and portability, as well as security and compliance. Testing and validation are crucial steps in any system integration, including CAD to ERP workflows like those involving SOLIDWORKS and Odoo. These processes ensure the integration works as expected, maintain data integrity, and aligns with business requirements. With proper testing and validation, you prevent errors to ensure data accuracy, guarantee system reliability, as well as compliance and auditability. Documentation is a critical component of any system integration, including CAD to ERP workflows like SOLIDWORKS to Odoo. Proper documentation ensures the integration is well understood, maintainable, and easily scalable over time. It also supports training, troubleshooting, and compliance requirements. Good documentation has many aspects. Firstly, it helps teams understand how the integration works, reducing reliance on specific individuals. Secondly, considering maintenance, it provides a clear reference for troubleshooting and updates. Thirdly, it simplifies onboarding for new team members. And lastly, you may meet regulatory or audit requirements by documenting processes and changes. Now I want to have your attention by asking, what is your biggest challenge with ERP and CAD integration? The poll should be open, and after voting we can check results together. So please take a moment and answer from your perspective what you consider the biggest challenge with ERP and CAD integration. Let's give a few moments as we are getting replies there. Seems that we have there like two options that got most of the votes, and it seems that the process automation is considered to be the biggest challenge, and for the second place there is that data accuracy, and I agree that based on my experience, those are many times the big challenges. Maybe I would consider even the data accuracy even bigger challenge from my perspective, but this was interesting result. Also a few votes for other options, but scalability didn't seem to be at least any big problem. Thank you for giving your feedback. That's always interesting to see. So let's move on and let's consider challenges and best practices regarding integration. When integrating systems like CAD, for instance SOLIDWORKS, and ERP, in this case Odoo, organizations may encounter several challenges. Identifying these upfront ensures smoother execution and long-term success. Managing and transferring large volumes of data during integration can strain systems and create bottlenecks. ERP systems might struggle to store and retrieve data efficiently if not optimized, and that may affect search operations in Odoo, slowing down due to poorly indexed data. One way to mitigate that is to optimize data by cleaning and consolidating records before the integration. And as said earlier, differences in data structure, formats, or rules between CAD and ERP systems can lead to integration failures. It's important to validate data for inconsistencies before transfers and to automate error detection and logging for faster resolution. Customizations or deviations from standard ERP workflows can complicate integration. Tailored ERP solutions often require unique integration configurations, increasing complexity. CAD workflows may not align with ERP's predefined processes. Relying on custom scripts or APIs can lead to maintenance challenges and compatibility issues during upgrades. A good mitigation strategy is to minimize customizations by aligning ERP workflows with standard practices. Document all customizations thoroughly to ensure maintainability and test integrations thoroughly after system updates to prevent compatibility issues. It's also good to bear in mind that even the best integration solutions can fail if users are not committed or adequately trained. Challenges can include resistance to change, lack of understanding, and inconsistent usage. It's important to involve users early in the integration process to gather feedback and secure buy-in. Setting clear objectives and measurable key performance indicators, KPIs if you wish, ensures alignment across teams and provides a framework for evaluating the integration success. Good goals to set are, for instance, automated data transfer, reduce manual work by certain %, improved BOM accuracy for manufacturing processes. Some examples of good key performance indicators are time taken to export BOM from SOLIDWORKS to Odoo, percentage reduction in data errors after integration, or user adoption rates. Starting with a focused scope reduces complexity and allows you to test the integration in a controlled environment before expanding. It involves pilot implementation, iterative testing, and deployment, and monitoring the impact. Using the right expertise and integration tools can save time, reduce errors, and ensure a seamless workflow. Some advice to give is to work with experienced partners or consultants who understand CAD ERP integrations. Vet consultants or tools based on their track record with similar integrations. Look for tools with a strong community support or documentation for ease of troubleshooting. Regularly update tools and retrain teams to stay aligned with new features or workflows. How about then optimizing existing integrations? Regular workflow reviews ensure that your integration remains efficient and aligned with your evolving business needs. That involves conducting workflow analysis, engaging key stakeholders such as engineering, production, and IT teams, and adoption to possible business changes to reflect new processes and organizational growth. Refining how data is mapped, processed, and transferred enhances system efficiency and accuracy over time. It may include streamlining of data mapping and elimination or redundant transfers. Regularly updating your systems ensures you benefit from the latest features, security patches, and performance enhancements. A good practice is to have a sandbox environment available to eliminate need of testing the integration in a production environment. And I really can't emphasize enough importance of ensuring that you will be provided with help in case there is a problem with integration. Access to reliable support ensures that any integration issues are promptly resolved, minimizing the downtime. That includes partnering with reliable vendors, establishing a support agreement, maintaining internal expertise, and documenting escalation path. This is really important to not only minimizing operational disruptions caused by unresolved issues, but also building confidence among users that the system is really reliable. Before wrapping up today's webinar, I'd like to ask you, perhaps considering information delivered during this webinar, how would you rate your current integration setup? I give you again a few moments to answer before sharing the results. So poll is now open, and let's see, do we get some results? Yeah, it seems that people are voting, so again, let's give a few moments everyone to have a chance to vote. Still getting some votes. All right, so here we can see the results. So clearly, this is a challenging topic, and those who rated the ERP integration or are using the one are considering it mostly performing average level. So clearly there is things to improve, and the topic is really challenging, I need to admit. So let's wrap today's presentation, what we have covered today. So start every integration project with a clear understanding of what you really want to achieve. Define measurable KPIs that help track your progress. For example, reducing manual data entry by 50% or automating POM transfers completely. Those are good measurable KPIs. A pilot implementation reduces risk and provides valuable insights. Start with a specific department or process, such as syncing POMs, and once the workflow is proven, gradually scale to other areas. And remember that data really is king. Data is the foundation of any integration. Clean, well-structured data ensures smooth mapping between SOLIDWORKS and Odoo. Focus on aligning metadata fields like part numbers and revision histories. Don't reinvent the wheel. Use established tools like custom tools to simplify the process and avoid unnecessary customizations. Partnering with experienced integrators can save time and ensure success. And remember that integration isn't a one-time task. Regularly review workflows to adapt to changing business needs. Keep your software updated and ensure your team has access to ongoing support to resolve any issues quickly. So that concludes today's presentation. I really hope you learned some new things in audience. Now I invite you to ask any questions you may have. We are here with Francois to provide clarification, address any concerns, or provide additional information based on what we have covered today. So, stage is yours. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat box, and we will do our best to answer them.
Thank you, Tero. So now we are just waiting for questions. So there is one question now coming. So if a design manufacturing company is starting from scratch with drawings, what custom properties would you recommend adding to all templates to ensure better compatibility with future version of Odoo? For example, properties like is bought or is manufactured.
Yeah, that's a really question, and to comment first of all that if starting a new manufacturing company, I think at least from my experience, that is kind of an ideal situation from the integration perspective, because then you don't have the history of data which may be inconsistent and acquire some additional task or attention from the integration perspective. And what I would recommend is that try to cope with minimal data. So obviously you need to identify those parts. So you need to have drawing number, item number, part number, or how you want to call it. In Odoo, it's product, how they call it there, the entity. Then obviously you need to have the description, like so that you know what the part is about. If you are manufacturing it by yourself, you probably want to have some material information, probably even some dimensions and other parameters from CAD, such as weight, things like that. If that is painted, you may need to have information about colors and surface treatments. Certainly you want to know when it's drawn, designed, and by who. So then if there's some additional questions, you know like who to contact, but and then perhaps some classification information. Sometimes in some companies, designers are responsible over filling quite a lot of information. For instance, information about the vendor, even from the roots, like how the part is going to be manufactured and so on. In perhaps the most common way is to handle that in the Odoo side, the part routings. And if you define some compulsory information in Odoo, obviously that you need to provide when exporting data from SolidWorks. And what is really important, what I mentioned also in the presentation, is to think and define how the change process works, like where is initiated. Are you using the PLM module in Odoo, where you can create engineering change orders, or are you using also, in addition to that, or only SolidWorks PDM, where you have the workflows and revisioning control? So there is really many different ways to implement that, but most important is to define how in your starting manufacturing company you want to take care of that, document that well, and if that is not working well in practice or it needs to be adjusted, then you just iterate the process and grow as you go. But I would avoid adding properties that you think that might come useful in the future, because that just adds overhead in data which you need to then manage in two different places. There is nothing wrong in adding some new data later on, and you can modify SolidWorks templates, and if you are using custom tools, you can even update your existing templates quite easily.
Yeah, that was.
Is there something that you want to add, or?
No, I think it was a very good point, and I think something you mentioned also during the presentation, that was, I think, very important, is to start small, something very basic, because quite often what we see when we do some integration, like companies, they want to start with something like very complicated, but it's also like something very complicated can work like with the new design, because it's very easy to have the correct custom properties, but you always have the issue of managing legacy file. And this is why, like, I think like what Tero said, that to start with something very basic is the best approach you can get, and then maybe start working from there. Yeah, but I think it was like all very valid point what you had. And we had some other questions. So basically, if you could tell about which Odoo modules are required to be installed to support this integration, especially for the BOM revision and engineering change control process.
So that's another good question. So what is compulsory is to have products there. So there are actually manufacturing module in Odoo which brings products. But if you, for instance, use the PLM module, that has dependency to manufacturing. So then choosing the PLM module also obviously brings the manufacturing module, but in a nutshell, the manufacturing module is the one that is must have. And if you want to manage the change process in Odoo, the PLM module brings you a possibility to use the engineering change orders and approve them, review them, and track all the changes in Odoo side. And that also enables basically the product history. You can't see if you change some metadata for product, what it was in the previous version, but Odoo tracks all the changes, for instance, in BOM. So if you make some changes to product, you then archive the old version, and then you basically create a new version with updated product information, such as a new BOM. But there's still things to consider. For instance, if you export PDF or drawing as a PDF to product, then as the product is still the one and the same product in Odoo, do you want to keep only the latest version there available to secure that you don't accidentally take the old revision when you make the purchase orders? But yeah, to answer the question, like the manufacturing module is compulsory, and with PLM module you will get access to a change process. And I know also, depending on your Odoo vendor, that at least some Odoo vendors that may be specialized in the manufacturing industry, they may have their own customized Odoo modules or implementation, what they deliver for all their customers to, for instance, to improve the change process. That is something that is perhaps not covering all the cases for a manufacturing company in out-of-the-box Odoo version, because it's a really versatile product. Like it basically covers everything what you need in a company. So then if you compare it to some big or enterprise level systems, there is like a much more needs, for instance, the revision control there.
Yeah, thank you. Then we have like quite some question, but we have someone asking if we have some best practice document or some material to help.
Actually, I think we don't necessarily have that available somewhere. Now we obviously have this webinar after this, but I think that is a good idea to have it also available. I think we could create a blog article or something like that where we emphasize. I know that we have a rather old article, I think, Francois, written by you, when there's generally about the ERP integrations, not specifically to Odoo, but there are like good points to consider when making an integration. But let's take a note from that, and homework for us to publish a best practice article.
Yes, that was quite a very good question. Then we have another question. So in a design to order environment, the framework product is created first, then purchase parts are added and forwarded to the procurement while designers work on manufacturable parts. Can this process be integrated in Odoo?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. Then you just need to control like where the parts are coming. I know the cases where, for instance, you sell the product first and you have some template part or product in Odoo where you, or the salesman, when creating a quote or offer to customer, adds some modules that should be there in the end product, but the product structure itself or BOM is not obviously made yet, but requires some design. So then you can fulfill that BOM in SolidWorks by designing the parts and then exporting that to existing product. And that then once again, it needs to be defined how updating of existing BOMs works. So there can be a rule that SolidWorks integration part only manages components that are originally coming from SolidWorks. And if you add some procurement department, for instance, or the salesperson who sold the original products have added there already some items or products in BOM, those remains there intact when working from CAD. It's basically the same if you have, for instance, electrical CAD and integration from there. That integration exports the products or items under the same product in Odoo, whereas all the mechanical components are then originating from SolidWorks. But once again, I would underline that importance of defining that process and how it should work so that it's obvious to everyone, and everyone who is using and working with BOMs are aware of that.
Yeah, thank you. Then we have another question regarding that custom tools as a translation feature and Odoo supports translation for certain fields. Is it possible to create a workflow where parts are imported from SolidWorks into Odoo and someone will add a translation in Odoo and then those translations are transferred back to SolidWorks as a new custom property? This then the property would then be used for drawing creation in different languages. So basically, if you manage like translation in Odoo, are you able to pull back those translations from Odoo into as SolidWorks custom properties?
Yes, that's also like a good question, perhaps not that common use case scenario, and perhaps it's not the designer's task to define those translations, but someone who makes sure and not working in a design department that translations are first of all consistent and they correspond to the target language. So with out-of-the-box integration, what we offer with custom tools, that is not possible, but we can customize the integration. And for some other ERP systems, we have already a feature available that you can choose the direction of data flow. So in addition that you can export something from SolidWorks, the BOM, you can also import data to existing BOM from ERP system. So in that case, you would be able to export also those language or import the language translations from Odoo to SolidWorks. And yes, custom tool supports printing drawings in different languages by through different sheet formats where you can basically translate all the static text, and if the translation is available in some different custom property, then that can be utilized in a language specific drawings. But that's not a simple task, since you need to also consider that when printing then, for instance, sub-assembly drawings, there is the whole BOM that needs to be translated. So not something that is simple, but still, I would say doable. But also in this case, I would consider what is the best process of having those translated drawings. So one option would be, of course, also that if you don't need those translations in CAD in SolidWorks, would it be possible to translate that PDF, or is there some other things that require having the translations available in SolidWorks? But it is possible, but once again, like should be considered carefully, like what is the optimal way of working in that case.
Yeah, we don't have any more question.
Yeah, but thank you for those questions. There was really good questions, and it always really nice to interact with the audience. So it's not only me talking here. So really appreciate your questions, and we got also some homework there. But if there is not any more questions, I think we can then thank you all for attending today's webinar, and I hope that you found it informative and valuable. And I would like to also remind you that the recording of this session will be available shortly for you to review at your convenience. And we can also use the moment to announce our next webinar, which will be held on March 13th. The topic will be managing your custom tools license, where we walk you through the essential steps to efficiently manage your custom tools license, from installation and activation to transferring licenses and managing users. We'll cover everything you need to ensure smooth operation in your team. So you don't really want to miss that. Keep an eye on your email for further details and registration information. Thank you once again for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. And if you are planning to go to Houston for 3D Experience World, please stop by our booth there. We are there again traditionally, having custom tools booth and looking for a great show and seeing our partners and customers and all the community. So bye for now. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
We are in the life-saving business. We kill your routines before they kill you.